Raise your hand if you recently got married and feel broke.
Wedding culture is getting out of hand.
Like, if there is one financial regret I have in my almost 30 years of living, it would be spending $30,000 on a wedding.
This woman is going to her wedding, and she went into $60,000 of debt in order to throw this wedding, and she's not the only one.
Getting married. Something you used to dream about when you were a teenager. A magical day filled with love, dancing, cake, and maybe a little bit of crying. Fast forward to 2025. Weddings aren't about love anymore. They're about aesthetics, content creation, and massive debt disguised as tradition. Let's talk about how wedding culture has completely lost the plot and why your dream day now comes with endless monthly payments and a very high interest rate. Let's get into it. Hi there, welcome back to my channel and to another episode. Today we're going to talk about the wedding culture phenomenon that has people on the internet, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram talking less and less about romance, love, and more about debt, stress, and being broke.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything. I promise.
How much was the wedding?
At least $11,000 spent on the wedding.
We are 6 figures in debt. It's all bad debt.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 bad debts? Not a single fucking mortgage over 6 figures? What the fuck are we doing? How long does this take to pay off? Can someone tell me?
No clue.
Well, I'll tell you, your kid will be in college.
So what, like
Yeah.
20 years?
20 years. Your kid will be in college. Until you paid off a card for the wedding. Come on!
Somebody in the comments said the despair in bad debt send me. Hello. Not gonna lie, he makes his clips a little bit more dramatic than I feel people would in real life. But yeah, this is the reality that a lot of people are living in. 6 figures in debt, $11,000 spent on a wedding. I mean, it's pretty normal. Somebody else in the comments said, not a great start to the marriage. I'm gonna have to agree with that.
And one of the major things that people go into debt about is the wedding. How do you know how much to budget for your wedding?
Yes, do not go into debt over your wedding. Point blank. Don't do it. Look, I've been married 15 years coming up. I have not thought about my wedding one time this week. I don't think I thought about it last week either.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this?
I know exactly.
The wedding is a great day. It's a great party, but it fades into the background of your life. You don't wake up every morning going, oh, my wedding was the best day of my life, and I'm so glad that I spent $80,000. You don't do that. Right. It goes away, and you live your life. So I think in the moment when you're excited, because you should be, and you're getting married and all that's going on, you can really get caught up. Don't get caught up, because what's more important is starting out your relationship with no debt.
Yes, I agree with everything she said. I absolutely agree. And I think I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I am of the camp of the most important things happen after you get married is when like real life actually starts. You know, the challenges you face with your partner, the ups and downs, navigating difficult situations, beautiful moments, getting to know each other, having children, and just all of the experiences that really are the ones that stick with you and that make you grow together. It's not really the memories of the wedding. Like she said, it's not like you wake up, every day thinking,
oh, my wedding was just, so beautiful. And I just think about it every day.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy the moment. And trust me, if you have the kind of money to just spend on a wedding without having any worries at all, then this video is not for you. This video is for the people who are getting into debt to afford a wedding that they cannot afford at the same time, which is why they're borrowing money to banks and credit card companies. It's really not a very wise decision. It will most likely put a lot of stress into your relationship as you enter your marriage with already debt on your shoulders, it's just, to me, not worth it. Somebody in the comments said, as a luxury wedding planner, I disagree. Keep booking me. On a real note, she's actually right. Don't get caught up. Oh, and book me. We get it, girl. We get it. Okay, so let's be real. Weddings used to be about the celebration, right? Romance, getting married to your special person, getting some cake, reading your vows, crying a little bit, and spending time with your friends and family, the beginning of a happily ever after. And fast forward to 2025, with the rise of social media and influencer culture, weddings have been now turned into an opportunity to create content, to produce full-blown brand launches. It's all about the vibe. It's all about aesthetics. It's really all pretty much a performance nowadays. Weddings are now all about a performance. The audience is the internet, you and me, the whole entire internet, watching through our phones, highly edited and super cinematic clip in 4K with beautiful music, in the most beautiful location, the most expensive food, and leaving you with a feeling that it's almost too good to be true. And in some cases, it actually is almost too good to be true, because the reality, the behind the scenes, is that a lot of people are getting into huge amounts of debt and are completely wrecking their finances, paying for these weddings and all the costs that come with it. Sadly, the reality is that weddings in the era of social media and influencer culture has taken a turn from romance and celebrating love stories to now producing cinematic moments for Instagram, TikTok, and social media platforms. It's almost like the couple is the product and the wedding is their launch campaign. The reality is that we're now dealing with situations in which people are not making very wise financial decisions when it comes to paying for the wedding, are starting off their marriage with huge amounts of debt, and are finding themselves asking, was it really all worth it? And no, don't get me wrong, this video is not me judging people who are in debt either because of a wedding or something else. I've had debt. I think the reality is that a lot of people in this country are on debt. What I want to highlight here is how this wedding industry has really capitalized on love, kind of the same way that it capitalizes on holidays like Valentine's Day, but it's less and less about celebrating love and more about just selling you a bunch of stuff that you don't need. I'm not against a good vibe. I'm not against a celebration, especially the celebration of love and romance and, you know, saying your vows before God and before your loved ones, and just truly embracing the meaning of making a commitment before God and your loved ones. I'm all about that. I absolutely love people getting married. I celebrate with them. But I think we're talking about something else here. What we see on social media, in the influencer world, in some circles where weddings just feel like these prefabricated opportunities to launch someone's career as an influencer or to attach your influencer lifestyle, if that makes sense. It's all a part of the aesthetic. It's all a part of your brand and less about love and commitment and really the reality of marriage. I think social media has really a tendency to ruin many things, and one of those things, sadly, weddings have been completely capitalized by social media trends, influencer culture, and we're now seeing the consequences of it, because with our phones available to us 24/7 and people constantly seeing this beautiful, amazing, aspirational weddings that our favorite influencers and even sometimes friends and family show on the internet, well, we want to do the same thing. So we swipe our credit cards like it's nobody's business, and a month after the wedding, you find yourself in $60,000 on credit card debt. And how did that happen? You can't even remember.
This woman is going to her wedding, and she went into $60,000 of debt in order to throw this wedding, and she's not the only one. The average wedding in America is $30,000, and the typical size of a wedding is 100 guests, and each guest costs around $266. That's a lot of money, and people are literally going into debt throwing these weddings. So why? The wedding industry is notoriously expensive. Services for a wedding generally cost more than if you were to have those same services at another event. For example, catering for a retirement party would likely be a lot less than catering for a wedding. Vendors say that because weddings are so high pressure, there's an added cost. But critics call the pricing a wedding tax. And what's worse is the price is going up. 77% of wedding vendors say they're increasing their rates. They say it's because of inflation, but technically inflation has gone down. Here's some data to show what services are getting more expensive. As you can see, the top 3 are DJs, makeup artists, and flowers. And interestingly, grooms' outfits are getting cheaper. What's crazy is despite everything getting more expensive, people are still willing to pay. That's because there's basically a backlog of weddings. The pandemic made some people delay their weddings, and now they want to have a big party. So you're likely to start seeing a trend of very lavish weddings, and people are willing to pay up, even that means going into debt for it, which I don't fully support because financial problems can lead to bad marital problems. In fact, money woes are one of the leading causes of divorce in the US. For every 10 marriages, 4 end in divorce because of money. Do you think taking out debt for a wedding is a good idea? Personally, I actually know a few people who have, but I also know a lot of people who have had their parents pay for everything.
Yes, $60,000 in wedding debt is just crazy to me. I mean, that is more than you would pay for a down payment on a house. It's the price of a brand new car. Just the thought of paying for $60,000 for a day of your life, even if it's your wedding, like a very important occasion in your life, it just to me is not worth it.
My wife and I are in a bit of a pickle. We got invited to a wedding out of the country, and actually my wife was asked to be in the wedding.
Ooh. Where?
It's in Italy.
I love that.
Always. Oh my goodness. So, and she's supposed to be part of the bridal party too, which is even more expensive because you got the dresses and the activities and the la-ti-da. How much debt do you guys have?
We have about $97,000 left.
Who is this person to you? Whose wedding is this?
It's one of her best friends, not family or anything, but
like recent best friends or best friends from high school or from college? Like, is this person in her daily life? Day to day.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, they've been best friends for the last 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't say since they grew up together. Like they didn't grow up together.
Is she the maid of honor?
No.
Okay, so she's not the maid of honor, which means she ain't the best friend, unless the girl has a sister.
It does matter in this.
It does matter. Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna shoot you straight here, because I don't think that you guys can afford a trip to Italy. And I don't think that you can afford all of the things that goes along with being a bridesmaid, because in 2023, these bridesmaid prices have gone through the roof.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Do we have a price tag? I'm curious now.
It's the parties, it's everything. So what do you think it's going to cost?
So the whole thing is about 4 days, I believe. That's just the minimum like stay, and that's not even including travel. I priced out to about $6,000. That's if we just did the 4 days.
And that's for the two of you?
I mean, yeah, flights. I can't find anything under like $4,000 for 2 flights.
Right. And then there's tuxedo, dresses. Is that everything included?
Yeah.
The next question I have is, do you have $6,000?
We don't. We did save a little bit of our. We got some money from the wedding, and we put most of it towards our debt. We did save about $3,000 of it in case we decided to go to Italy.
So what's the pickle? Because that implies to me that you guys aren't on the same page. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, she's all in on going.
Yeah, because it's her friend.
I'm on the we can't afford it side, but I don't want to come between.
Let me ask you this, because if it were me, if I were you, and the script was flipped and it was my husband who wanted to go for his friends, I would say, what would you think about us throwing a really nice bridal shower, or in this case, groom's party, for your friend here stateside? And we can do that, and that way we're finding a way to participate, doing something nice, but we can also keep it within a much smaller scope.
All right, come on.
And not bust the budget.
That's Jade, the financial expert, and the very disciplined person who changed her life. You're legit, but come on. I want Jade the woman on this.
Okay.
So like, if he says that to his wife, I think she goes, "Sorry, pal, that's not a viable option.
They've
I
got
have
to
a
find a
different
way
one.
to meet in the
I
middle.
I got one.
Okay, hit him, Ken.
He doesn't go. He says, "Babe, this is your dear friend. I know that
I
it
like
would
that.
pain you not to go. It's a big deal, but babe,
It's
we are
still
in financial."
$3,000.
He can go make $3,000.
Hi there, I just wanted to ask you a quick favor. If you are enjoying this video so far and you enjoy this type of content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right there. It will support me, the channel, and it will ensure that I continue to make this content for you every single week. Thank you again so much, and now let's get back into the video. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna watch the whole clip, but this is a very complicated situation, right? And I think it's actually more common than you'd think for people who find themselves in the middle of, well, you know, I gotta go to this wedding, or I was invited to this wedding, either for a friend or a family member, and it's just hard financially to do it, right? And in some other situations, you are actually participating in the wedding, so you actually have to come up with the price of the dress and the makeup and the hair and, you know, drinks and stay and everything that comes with the wedding. So I hate to say it, but it's kind of one of the situations where it's a family member or a friend that just basically hands you a bill. And I don't want to put it that way completely, because I understand the person's gonna have the wedding the way they want to. But I think, you know, it's literally financially hard for you to be able to afford that if it's gonna put you in a lot of financial stress. I think sometimes you just have to learn how to say no and maybe be okay with people maybe being a little bit disappointed about it. I think in the long term, it's probably a better idea than to just add more financial stress to your situation, to your life, especially in a situation where, yeah, it just doesn't really make sense for you to make that financial decision. And I think the other person too, if that other person really cares about you, if it's a family or like a close friend, they would understand too. That's not always the case. It doesn't always happen. People just close their eyes, pretend they're blind, and just go ahead and do it, like many other decisions that people make. But yeah, I completely understand the complexity of the situation. It's not an easy decision to make. Yeah, here's the part that no one likes to admit. A lot of people, I would dare to say most people, can't really afford their weddings that they're throwing, or at least the weddings they aspire to have. But the pressure to do it right, the pressure to just make it look a certain way is so overwhelming that couples are now taking out loans and in some cases completely maxing out their credit cards. For what? To impress people on the internet that they barely know? But it's the most important day of my life. Yes, you're right. But what if that one day turns into a 10-year financial hangover? Is that worth it? That's the question to ask, I think. I mean, we're talking literally about people choosing between paying for a wedding or a down payment on a house. I would choose definitely the latter, if you ask me. And I think what's wild is the fact that everybody knows this is insane. I mean, dropping 30 grand or $60,000 for a one-day celebration, it's completely crazy. But like everything else, it's being normalized. It's the fact that, well, it's my wedding and everybody else is on credit card debt. So, I mean, if I do it, it's not that bad. It's not that it's not that bad, and it's not that, yeah, you're not the only person that it's on credit card debt. It's the fact that it's still not a normal thing. And me, with the deinfluencing movement, I am all for calling out the things that have been normalized that really shouldn't be. I mean, if you really think about it, were the grandmas who were getting married in the 50s and the 60s spending $7,000 on flowers? No, probably not, right? No, they were getting married probably in their backyards and giving everybody chicken and calling it a day, right? And those are probably also the couples that stayed married forever. Because let's not even get into the statistics of the divorce rate. It's not a very encouraging one. But something that definitely won't help the cause is entering a marriage with $60,000 in credit card debt.
Hey, come here, look at me. Hey, look at me. What'd I say? No. Come here, look at me. Hey, look at me. No. Come here, look at me. Hey, you want it? No.
Broke people should not go to destination weddings. Destination wedding is an excuse for a vacation. It's a wonderful thing for people that have money. But when broke people go to a destination wedding, you know what you call that? More debt. Because even if you budgeted the money out of your income and used it, it's money you would have been paying down on your debt. So effectively, you have borrowed the money to go to a destination wedding. You know, you ask me, so you get my answer. I'm sorry, it goes with the territory. I would have to say, if I were in your shoes and I were 23 or 26 and I had no money, I would not go on a destination wedding. And you'll live through it, and they'll live through it. Basically, what are you missing? A vacation. And you're broke. Broke people don't need to be going on vacation. Broke people need to be working and not being broke people anymore. Live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else.
Yeah, I think Dave Ramsey is one of those characters that causes mixed feelings in people. Some people love him, some other people just find him a little bit too old school and just maybe don't like him very much because he speaks sometimes very harshly to people. I am of the opinion that Dave Ramsey still offers a lot of wisdom when it comes to finances. I mean, the guy literally got himself out of bankruptcy, built a very successful business. Do I think that sometimes he holds kind of old school opinions that maybe don't quite apply to the reality that a lot of people are living right now when it comes to the economy and the cost of living and inflation and all those kind of things? Yes, I think that he's still of the boomer generations, but I don't completely discredit everything he says. My husband and I have actually applied a lot of Dave Ramsey's advice, and we followed kind of the baby steps, and it's found it to be really helpful. However, in this particular situation, I completely agree with him. And again, it's very hard because, you know, going to weddings, destination weddings, whether it's for you or somebody else that you love and you want to participate in their wedding, it's a very complicated decision. It's a very hard decision. It's a very emotional decision too. But you should always go back to, what is my financial situation right now? How is this going to affect my financial situation? And I think that's what's going to dictate whether you make that decision or not. If you have a little bit of debt, maybe it's not that bad. But if you are in a lot of debt, it's probably not a very good idea that you are taking trips, you know, for the sake of taking a vacation or whatever the reason is. It's not very responsible. I'm not one to say to anybody what to do with their finances, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. I have been in a position before where I've had a lot of debt and I was stressed out of my mind, and it's not fun to live that way. It's just not fun to owe money. I think I will probably agree with Dave Ramsey here on this one. Somebody in the comments said, destination wedding? I can barely afford my destination after work, let alone a destination wedding. Yep, I totally get it.
Raise your hand if you recently got married and feel broke. Guys, I got married 3 weeks ago almost, and we had this beautiful wedding, and it wasn't even that expensive. I'm German, we got married in Germany, and things here are much cheaper than in the US. But the mere fact that all my savings are gone, and I even had to tap into my emergency fund and have like a small loan that I took out of about 1,500, 1,800 euros is killing me. It's giving me so much anxiety. And yes, I know it's going to come back in with the next paycheck, but I'm just like, I have to start at zero. So for all the 2024 brides, yes, spending the money is worth it. You will have an amazing time, but be mindful of the fact that it's just 24 hours. And after those 24 hours, you need to figure out how to live life on a budget, because girl, the way I'm going to be window shopping for the rest of the year,
Yeah, I think that's the situation, the reality that a lot of people face right after the fact, after the wedding. I think reality just sets in once you've had your celebration, then the bills come. Then that big bill, the first credit card payment, the credit card statement, and that big number right there looking at you sets in. And that's when you probably start questioning yourself and maybe ask yourself if it was really worth it.
I can't believe I did that. I am so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking.
I think everybody's situation is different, so obviously it goes case by case. But for the people who are already in a lot of debt, where it's just gonna be another amount added to the debt, it's just gonna cause more stress. I think in some situations, making some sacrifices and maybe budgeting correctly is probably okay if you think you can pay it off in 6 months, a year, and the amount is not an exorbitant amount. Then, if you can do it, if you think you can do it and you're disciplined enough and financially responsible enough to do it, then that's fine. But yeah, typically after the wedding is when reality sets in, and again, you start your marriage with a lot of stress already. It's just not a good thing to do, in my opinion. At this point, we gotta ask ourselves, are weddings about love and commitment, or is it about optics? Are we really celebrating love, or are we just trying to have our moment on social media? Because with the state of the internet right now, it kind of feels like people are more in love with the wedding than the actual marriage. Divorce rates are still climbing, and in some cases, couples are even getting into huge fights.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Over who they're going to invite to their wedding before the wedding has even happened. And yet the industry keeps telling us it's all worth it. It's all worth it because you'll only do it once. Well, J-Lo will probably have a thing or two to say about that.
I'm a magnet for unavailable men.
Statistically and sadly, nowadays that's very debatable. What if we stopped the machine? What if we got out of the matrix? The social media matrix, at least. I mean, you can't get married without going broke, right? You know that, right? You don't need to become an influencer wedding person on the internet to start a marriage. You certainly don't need to get into huge amounts of debt to marry your special person and, make a vow before God and before your loved ones. In reality, all you need is 2 people, a witness, and common sense. So if you're feeling like you need to sell a kidney in order to pay for your wedding, just take a breath. Just take a moment and say, I don't have to do everything that other people are doing on social media. I don't have to do it this way. I can do it my way. And if people are not going to be happy about it, well, it's not about the people. It's really about you, your spouse, God, and your loved ones. The people who really matter in your life. Everyone else doesn't really matter, especially not the people on TikTok or Instagram or whatever other social media platform. It doesn't matter. But anyways, as I always say, if you happen to disagree with me, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. If you're not scared of having some real conversations, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right there and join the community, and it will help me continue to create this kind of content for you every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed today's video, then hit that like button and make sure that you watch this video next.